Today we are going to be correcting sentence 3 and sentence 4 under set 12. Again, just a reminder, if you have not written these sentences down on a piece of notebook paper, please pause this video, write them down, and then press play when you're ready for the corrections. All right, you should have these sentences written down now. Let's take a look at sentence 3 together. Our sentence says, "This AM, Andre painted a real lifelike picture of our dog still wearing his pajamas." In this sentence, we have a misplaced modifier. We also have an abbreviation error that we're going to spell out. We will add commas to show that we have a non-restrictive phrase. And we have adverb form errors to address as well. So let's begin with our misplaced modifier. So earlier, when we were taking notes, we talked about how some sentences will include a modifier, or a word or phrase that adds an extra description to a noun in the sentence. Now, we talked about how if we want our sentences to be as clear as possible, our modifiers should go next to the word that they logically describe. In this sentence, our modifier is still wearing his pajamas. Now, this phrase is right next to the noun dog. This makes it look like the dog is the one that's wearing the pajamas. Now, although this would be super cute, we know that logically the dog is not wearing the pajamas. Logically, we're talking about Andre. So, to move this misplaced modifier, I am going to place a box around the modifier and I'm going to draw an arrow where logically the phrase should be added. This shows that still wearing his pajamas should go right after Andre. That would address my misplaced modifier. However, though, because I'm moving this phrase closer to the center of the sentence, I also need to add commas to show that I have a non-restrictive phrase. So, I am going to place a comma right after Andre, and I'm going to add a comma after pajamas. I'm going to place that comma inside of the box, though, to show my viewer that that comma also needs to be moved with the rest of the phrase. That would solve my comma for non-restrictive phrases. Next, I have an abbreviation error. The abbreviation error is AM. We want to try to be as formal as we can in our writing, so I'm going to replace AM with the word morning. That addresses my abbreviation error. And lastly, in this sentence, I have adverb form errors. In our notes from earlier, we talked about how most adverbs end in ly. Now, as we look at this word real, it probably sounded okay for us to say a real lifelike picture of our dog. And I think that's because this is an error that we so frequently speak in that it almost sounds correct. However, because this word is being used as an adverb, we have to use the form that ends in ly. So I'm going to replace this word real with the word really. And that addresses my adverb form error. Next, let's take a look at sentence 4. Our sentence says, "Most turkeys are raised in California than in any other state in the US." In this sentence, we have adjective form error. We also have a plural error we need to address, and we're going to spell out an abbreviation. First, let's take a look at adjective form. So back on our notes that we took, we talked about how adjectives and adverbs can be used to make comparisons. When we are looking at comparing two items, we would use the comparative more. If we were comparing 3 or more items, we would use the superlative most. However, in this sentence, we are only making a comparison between two things: the state of California and any other one state in the US. Because we're comparing just 2 items, we will change the superlative most to the comparative more. That fixes my adjective form error. I also need to change the spelling of my word turkeys to address that plural error. We know that this is not the correct way to make this word plural, so instead, we're going to change the spelling to make sure that I follow those plural rules. That fixes that error. And our last error, again, we just want to make sure our writing is as formal as possible. So I'm going to replace this US abbreviation and replace it with the full spelling of the United States. And that would fix our last error. Again, if you have any questions about how I've corrected these sentences, please comment on the video and I'll try to answer those questions as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, everyone.